Okay, guys. So just doing a quick check-in. My um new way of life, should I say, my new way of eating isn't a new way. Well, yeah, this consistent way of supporting my physical body is going to start within the next few days. Like a lot of people start on Mondays all the time, and I used to do the same thing. It really doesn't matter what day you pick based on my goal and what I said I wanted to do, accomplish, achieve, or whatever. It was recommended by my higher self when I did the check in that I start within the next 7 days. And so that was a couple days ago. So we're looking at the next 5 or 6 days where I'm to start, and I can start at any moment, at any time within that time frame. Now, what I want to say is the phrase cheat day is no longer a thing. Cheat day is no longer a thing. Cheating on a diet or cheating on a diet is no longer a thing because we're not on a societal diet. We are eat our way of eating is the particular diet that our body prefers. So it's not a diet like they use in society and mainstream. No, it's like when you look at the various animals and you're looking at Nat Geographic, and they say, well, yeah, the diet of this particular mouse is cheese and crackers. So that's what I'm saying. So the diet of this particular body is what I'm referring to. And so there will be variations. The no value, no steam and sting on the phrase cheat day or I cheated on my diet. Those things don't exist because there's no such thing as cheating on your diet. There are always times when you might not feel like going to work, so you don't go. You may not feel like going to school, so you don't go, and you play hooky from work and school. Or you may not feel like getting out of bed at all, so you skip a day on grooming yourself or whatever. I mean, it happens all the time, and those are just variations. But what happens next? The next day, you get up and go to work, or the next that weekend, like if you decide you don't want to go to work on Friday, and you have your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but you go to work without any judgment on being off on that Friday. You go back to school without any judgment on skipping that time or cutting your work day in half. You go back to work without any judgment or guilt on the time you spent away. This is no different. So, in the event that you variate off of the diet that you chose, your body, your higher self chose, then you simply deviate from it, enjoy whatever it is. Today, this moment, this is part of the diet. And then once complete, you move right along and you continue on with what you've been doing before. Okay, that's how you do it. That is how you support not only your physical body, but also your mental body, your mental health. Do you understand how often we have been on these roller coaster diets? Okay, these mainstream diets, and how often have you beat yourself up for having that piece of cake? How often have, while you're eating the cake or the thing that they say you're not supposed to have or you feel like you shouldn't have, how often have you been in the process of eating it and feeling the guilt behind it at the same time? Where is the enjoyment in that? And what happens is when you eat those things and you have that energy surrounding those things while you're eating them, you're eating that energy in. And that is helping to keep the excess weight on. That is stress. Whether we know it or not, whether we can really feel it or not, that is stress. So I figured I would do a little bit of a check in, and whoever is following along who's really interested, if you've been practicing with the energy testing, how is that going for you? Have you played around with it with maybe a meal or something like that? If you don't plan on choosing like a regimen, a regular routine that the body might prefer at this time, and you just want to just go meal by meal or even week by week, how is that going for you? It's a lot of fun to do. There is no judgment. If you decide, if the body says, your higher self says, well, no, not this right now, because sometimes it will change. Like my higher self will tell me, say no to the ice cream. But if I also add salad or some kind of like nourishment prior to that or within the same day or something like that, then the answer will change. It can possibly change. A lot of times it does, but it depends on how much you're adding that is actually good. It's more about what's best for you versus the things that are bad. Because if you're consuming on a regular basis the things that are really good for your body and your mental health, then whatever you put in that they claim is bad for you isn't, because you have so much of the good stuff in there. Okay, the good stuff is outweighing the bad stuff. And that is, and I say bad in air quotes because it's not always bad. If it's delicious to you and it makes you happy as you're eating it, minus the guilt, and you just lean into pure happiness, it is just as nutritious for you as the fruits and vegetables. That is a fact. That's even scientific. They've done neurological studies. They've done studies on people's physical body and how the body responds to certain foods while they're eating it based on how a person is feeling at the time. Okay, the body is keeping score the whole time. So we might as well raise the energy around the things that we eat. Also, saying something beautiful over your food, like a prayer if you're into prayer. If you're not into prayer, you're speaking gratitude over the food. Oftentimes when people are cooking or even eating, they're spewing and saying things and having these random conversations over the food. It just makes me cringe because that energy is going into the meal, whether you're saying it over your meal or someone else is saying it while they're cooking. That's why it's important to even bless your food, like, because if you're at a restaurant, you don't know how someone is feeling when they're cooking. People are human, and you just bless the food before you consume it. Okay, until the next time, there's more. I will be back. I'm going to share my general menu options based on my check in. And yeah, so I'll be back. And until the next time, live simply, be kind.